In this lesson, we will examine a video case study of skilled communication in action in a classroom. This video case study is from a small rural school in Clontuskert, Ballinasloe, County Galway in Ireland. Kate Murray is the teacher and principal of this small rural school. She teaches 9 to 12-year-olds in a multi-grade setting. The learning activities focused on language development using the Chekhov Story Author app. Please watch this video and see how the children's skilled communication skills were developed. This video tells the story of a learning activity carried out by Kate with her multi-grade class in Ireland. Kate teaches 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th classes in a 2-teacher school in the west of Ireland. There are 19 children in the class, ranging from 8 to 13 years old. 13 children participated in the project, which took 4 weeks to complete. The learning activity which Kate completed with her class to explore and develop language in a primary classroom is entitled Using Chekhov Story Author app.
Say from the 21st century point of view and the skills that we were trying to develop and embed in this project, we looked at skilled communication. We have a lot of students with speech and language difficulties, and as teachers we're constantly working on expressive and receptive language and developing both areas. For us, the focus was to create ebooks that could be downloaded across the world, but also specifically for their partner student in the junior room. So once the books were created, then other people could also use them as a way to learn how to read in English. From a curricular point of view, we also gave the children more of an ownership on how they were going to make these books for their partner child. So they had to look at their Jolly Phonics program, at the words that they were using and what level they were at, and then they had to create a revision focus and also a developmental focus so that the children were getting the best of both worlds. From that point of view, it was quite prescriptive in terms of the approach that they would take. And the children knew that through the work that they were doing with their rubrics before they embarked on any of this work.
Stage 1 entailed learning about the Chekhov Story Author app and the Matuto Literacy for Life movement. The children learned how to create a story using the Chekhov Story Author. They also created an assessment rubric which was used both to guide the process of creating the ebooks and to assess the completed ebook. The Matuto Literacy for Life program is a global partnership led by Microsoft and organizations including UNESCO, World Vision, Save the Children, and Lions International. The partnership uses mobile technology to empower people across the globe to create literacy apps in a native or second language. Matuto Literacy for Life seeks to address illiteracy amongst both adults and children and aims to reach 100 million new readers by the year 2020. The Chekhov Story app was developed to enable users to write and record dynamic ebooks, which can be used by learners across the globe to develop their literacy skills anytime, anywhere, even when there is no literate adult available to assist them. The children watched the film The First Mile to learn how the project evolved and the reasons behind its development. They then carried out research on the internet to learn more about the Literacy for Life and Chekhov Story project. The students also had a conversation via Skype with Anil Balakrishnan, who had developed the Chekhov Story app. They asked him questions in relation to the development of the Chekhov Story app and discussed how they planned to use Chekhov. Anil in turn gave the students a demonstration on how to use Chekhov and explained the process of publishing an ebook.
Today, a man called Anil Balakrishnan Skyped us to talk about his new app, Chekhov. It has to be reviewed to make sure everything is right. He told us about reading phonics and helping people understand what we're saying.
So we started off doing a small demo on what Chekhov is about. He showed us the 3 different things about Chekhov, and they were read by myself, read to me, and learn phonics.
To learn how to use Chekhov Story Author, the children created a 5-page story based on a subject of their choice. After downloading the Chekhov app onto their Surface devices, they created a new story within the app. They then wrote their story and drew pictures to go with it. Then, using the Surface, they took photographs of the pictures, edited them, and inserted them in their story. Finally, the children learned how to record themselves reading their stories.
They played for hours.
The children also learned how to evaluate ebooks. Once they had completed their 5-page books, they reviewed the process of creating a story as a class group. As part of this session, the importance of using relevant pictures to support and enhance the text on each page was emphasized, as was the importance of using appropriate pace, pitch, and tone when recording audio for the story. Following this, the class as a group developed a rubric for assessing ebooks. To help with this, Kate downloaded and disseminated a number of rubrics to the children. In groups of mixed age and ability, the children evaluated these rubrics in terms of strengths, weaknesses, and suitability for the project with the junior class. Then, working as a class group, the children developed an assessment rubric which they could use to assess the ebooks they created. Having learned about the Chekhov Story app, the children had to learn how to approach creating stories for the children in the junior classroom. Again, there were a number of parts to this. First, the resource teacher took a class with the children in which he introduced them to the language cycle, the concepts of receptive and expressive language, and how this relates to reading and writing. To revise and reinforce this lesson, Kate placed the children in mixed age, mixed ability groups and asked them to discuss and record the responses in Padlet to each of the following questions. How does language relate to reading? And how does language relate to writing? Allowing 3 minutes for each question, Kate discussed the children's responses as a class. Second, Kate also facilitated a class discussion to revise what the children knew about genres. As part of the discussion, she asked questions such as, what are genres? What genre have we used before? What would be the most suitable genre for use in the Chekhov ebooks? What genre will appeal to the target audience? And how we find out about this information. Kate also discussed what other questions the children should ask their junior partners in order to find out information about the type of book their partner would like to read. The children were now ready to compose a story for a partner child in the junior classroom. Using the M8 mind map, which they downloaded from the Windows App Store, each child devised a set of at least 5 questions to elicit information about the type of book their partner would like to read. The questions related to genre, characters, and general preferences of their partner student. Having been assigned a partner, the children went to the junior classroom and worked with their partner to complete the mind map. The information gathered was to be used to inform the creation of the ebooks.
What is your favorite movie?
Spider-Man.
Why do you like Spider-Man?
Because he's able to climb walls and he shoots webs.
Okay, so what is your favorite animal?
Pony.
And why do you like it, ponies?
Because they're cute and they're soft.
The junior class teacher also provided individual word lists for each of the junior partners. When creating their ebook, the senior partners were encouraged to use at least 10 new development words and 10 revision words from these lists. This was to provide the junior partners with the opportunity to revise and learn new words from the Chekhov ebook being created for them. Once they had acquired the necessary information, the children plotted the outline of the stories using M8 mind mapping. The stories were then drafted, revised, redrafted, and edited using MS Word.
When we were reading the story, we had to be expressive, make it interesting for the readers.
Feedback was provided on these drafts by their peers and their teacher. The final drafts of the stories were copied and pasted into Chekhov's story author, and the children then audio recorded them. Next, the children created the artwork to accompany each page of the story. In doing so, they endeavoured that each picture should relate to the story on the page and enhance the understanding of the story for the reader. The artwork was photographed and edited using the Surface devices, which was then inserted into the Chekhov story author. As the students completed the e-books, Kate ensured that they referred to the rubric they had developed as a means of ongoing self-assessment. For example, the students had to ensure they had included all the words in the junior partners' word lists.
We assessed ourselves with the rubric before our teacher did it. So, for example, I gave myself a 3 for the title and a 3 for the vocabulary. So I had to go back and change. So I used every word in my partner's word bank.
The finished stories are published on the Windows Store. The children individually presented their ebooks to their junior partner. They demonstrated to their partner how to download the book from the Windows Store and how to use it. The students also presented the complete set of books to the resource and learning support teachers for use in their classrooms.
Lizzie was so happy the team got the old Duffy.
Oh, Duffy!
Old Duffy cuff.
From a 21st century learning point of view in terms of 21 CLD, I found that using the dimension has been hugely beneficial, because in terms of my planning, I'm able to look and see exactly where I should be going in terms of creating learning activities that are encouraging the students to engage in deep learning, so that we're not just looking at surface skills. And so often in terms of 21 CLD and 21st century skills, which is a big buzzword at the moment, we're aiming towards that, but this really gives you a roadmap to make sure that and ensure that your children in your class are really engaging and making sure that they are really developing those skills correctly.
Please watch the video again and make note where you see evidence of skilled communication. Jot these down and make notes of what level of skilled communication you would code it at and why.
Okay, so what is your favorite animal?
Pony.
And why do you like it? Ponies.
Love playing together.
And you can read the words.
Words. Our vocabulary, and the vocabulary helps us with our writing. So this one, whoever wrote this, you just need to change it around a little bit, because it's your language is developed, your vocabulary is developed when you speak, and that is your
What you're going to say. What you're going to say.
That's a picture of the water with the tail popping out there. You press read to me, and then you press on one of the words.
I asked Oren one of the big questions, what is your favorite movie? Because the movie, what you can figure out characters that they would like in their story. And Oren said Spider-Man, so you could go on the internet and look up Spider-Man, and all the actors and the people, the characters in the movie would come up, and you could put some of his favorite characters in there.
That's where they are at the moment. You're going to take some of the words from here.
Story Chekhov. You tap into new story, and you write the title, say, and here you do add a new page, so you could do this and this. click into the picture. This is a really adventurous story. That's the genre.
Today, a man called Anil Balakrishnan Skyped us to talk about his new app, Chekhov. It has to be reviewed to make sure everything is right. He told us about reading phonics and helping people understand what we're saying.
So we started off doing a small demo on what Chekhov is about. He showed us the 3 different things about Chekhov, and they were read by myself, read to me, and learn phonics.
Editing the pictures.
And I'm going to record it so that if he gets stuck in the word that he's able to read it. So they played for hours. How you sound.
How you sound.
Done, I'll just take a picture. And then I'd go into the camera roll and how we use Chekhov. And Anil taught us new things about it and we learned a lot. He was telling us about his goals.
I've given you for examples, and you're going to tell me if there's anything in those rubrics that we can use for assessing Chekhov. You're engaged in the conversation. Okay, understand the words. Is there another couple there? So listening, yeah, to take in and understand.
Expression must be interesting. Speaking in an appropriate tone.
Sometimes when someone is telling something, you have to kind of picture in their head what is it.
Talking.
So, what are the processes involved in speaking? Okay, second question. That's the part of
That's how we can get that
everyone is always involved in speaking. We've now got a 3-minute challenge to do writing, and let's see if we can do it even better than reading. Go.
When they change
Sorry, I can't hear. Try again. Go again. Okay, so great. Very good. Who could do it for me in a super happy voice?
James are rainbow. You want to call the rainbow.
what is your favorite genre? And my partner wanted a comedy but adventure, so he'd like be going on adventure but it's to be funny. And another one, what's your favorite character or movie, so you can have an idea of what they like and what they love their story to be about. So what is your favorite movie was a big thing, because to know their favorite characters that you could put in their movie or in their story. What is your favorite movie?
Spider-Man.
Why do you like Spider-Man?
Because he's able to climb walls and vision and
Okay, so what is your favorite animal?
pony.
And why do you like it? Ponies.
Because they're cute and they're soft.
I think I do. I'll have to look through one of these things.
Okay. So what she's done is she's gone through the word list and she's marked where your partner is. So some of them they're doing their word boxes, and in each box you have a list of words. So this person is at box 13. Okay, so they're as far as here.
When we were reading the story, we had to be expressive, make it interesting for the readers.
An explorer. You want it to be set in like a land? The picture's about a cheeseburger man, and this is him here, and this is his three friends, Joe, Tommy, and Thomas. Their size you wanted. Picture, and you just get the picture that you cropped and press it, and then you open. Yeah, I got this.
We assessed ourselves with the rubric before our teacher did it. So, for example, I gave myself a 3 for the title and 3 for the vocabulary. So I had to go back and change. So I used every word in my partner's word bank.
That's and you can read it yourself. You can read all of it.
Once there were two girls called Elsa and Rapunzel. They loved playing together.
Lizzie was so happy the team got the Duffy.
Oh, Duffy!
Oh, Duffy cuff.
We are now going to look at the video of Kate's classroom once more. This time it will highlight evidence of the different levels of skilled communication. See how they compare to what you noted. In the previous video, you watched an account of how Kate, in a multi-grade classroom in Ireland, implemented a learning activity entitled Using Chekhov's Story Author app to explore and develop language in a primary classroom. In this activity, students in Kate's class created an e-book for a partner child in the junior class in the school. This video is also based on this learning activity, but it examines how the students in Kate's classroom engaged in skilled communication as they completed the e-books for the younger children. As a reminder, when examining a unit of work in relation to skilled communication, the following questions are asked. Are the students required to engage in extended or multimodal communication? Must this communication be supported with evidence? And do students communicate to a particular audience? Extended communication requires students to produce communication that represents a set of connected ideas. In written work, extended communication is the equivalent of one or more completed paragraphs and not simply a sentence or phrase. In electronic or visual media, extended communication can take the form of a sequence of a video, a podcast, or a page of a presentation that connects or illustrates several ideas. There are examples in this learning activity of communication that are forms of extended communication and examples that are not extended communication. For example, as part of learning how to use the Chekhov Story app, the children were asked to create a 5-page story on a topic of their choice. The stories are examples of extended communication, as they represent a set of connected ideas rather than a set of disconnected thoughts. In the same way, the stories created for the children in the junior classroom can be considered forms of extended communication. Each of these stories is a set of connected ideas based on a topic and genre of interest to the junior partner. In contrast, later in the activity, the students in Kate's class had to learn how to approach creating stories for the children in the junior classroom. As part of their preparation, the children were introduced to the language cycle and the concepts of receptive and expressive language by the resource teacher. A key element of this lesson was how the language continuum relates to reading and writing. To revise and reinforce her students' understanding of the language continuum, Kate began the next lesson by placing the children in mixed age, mixed ability groups and asking them to discuss and record their responses in Padlet to each of the following questions. How does language relate to reading, and how does language relate to writing? Use of Padlet enabled each group's responses to be immediately displayed on the class whiteboard. After allowing 3 minutes to discuss and record their responses to each question, Kate then discussed the children's responses as a class. As you can see, each group responded with 1, 2, or at most 3 sentences. This does not represent a set of connected ideas, and so cannot be considered extended communication. Communication is multimodal when more than one type of communication mode is used to represent a coherent message. In this learning activity, the students created ebooks that integrated text and image. Throughout the activity, Kate stressed that the images included on each page of the story were to enhance or add depth to the corresponding text. More than one type of communication mode is thus used to communicate a coherent message, and so the communication is multimodal. Students are required to design their communication for a particular audience when they must ensure that their communication is appropriate to the specific readers, listeners, viewers, or others with whom they are communicating. From the outset, the goal in this learning activity was that each child in Kate's class would create an ebook for a partner child in the junior class in the school. The ebook had to be tailored to the interests of the junior child and written in a genre that reflected those interests. In addition, the ebook had also to contain at least 10 words that were new to the partner child and 10 words that the child needed to revise. As a result, each junior child ended up with a personalised book tailored to their specific needs and interests. Communication requires supporting evidence when students must explain their ideas. At the end of the learning activity, Kate videoed the students as they reflected on the process of creating an ebook for a junior partner. As part of their reflections, the students explained the steps they took and their thinking as they created their book. In particular, they explained how they created the books for the junior children in order to develop their reading vocabulary. They also explained how the book was tailored to the specific needs and interests of the junior partner. These videos are uploaded on the school blog. In this way, the students' communication was supported with evidence. In addition to presenting the books to their partner children, the students also presented the books to the resource and learning support teachers for use in their classrooms. They created a list of the ebooks which contained the names of each book, the student who created it, and the name of the target pupil for the book. They also highlighted the words contained in each book so that the teacher can use them with their other students in the future. This is also a form of supporting evidence. So to conclude, how would we code the learning activity completed by Kate? It is a 4. This is because as they created ebooks for the children in the junior classroom, Students were required to produce extended communication and multimodal communication. They were required to design their communication for a particular audience, and they were required to provide supporting evidence. Now that you have explored some of the elements involved in developing skilled communication, we hope that you are in a better position to understand how to design and plan for effective skilled communication learning activities for your students. In this lesson, we have examined skilled communication and what it looks like in the classroom. In the next lesson, we consider how you can design opportunities for the development of skilled communication for the students you are working with.